Good evening. I am Tashan Tyson, in with the OVA NMD News Package for today, Friday 9th November 2018. In our lead stories, nationally, Premier of Nevis issues statement on attack on Hotelia, and consultations on St. Kitts and Nevis's universal health insurance coverage plan to begin on November 12th. Regionally, 6 injured as Fly Jamaica aircraft makes emergency landing in Guyana. Internationally, man ordered to repay ex-fiancé for engagement rings. And in sports, England completes 211-run win over Sri Lanka. We'll have the details of these and other stories after this message.
Another look.
Different from how you've seen it before.
Another look.
Takes an in-depth look into business, politics, science, technology, religion, and more.
Another look.
Featuring documentaries from the BBC, regional features, and local ones too.
Another look.
Every Monday at 3 p.m. on the Eastern Caribbean's powerhouse, Vaughan.
Welcome back. Another national news in detail. The Nevis Island Administration condemns unreservedly this reprehensible act of criminality against Mr. Yarwood and his family and calls yet again on the Nevisian public to give full assistance to the police to eradicate this scourge of crime and violence from our midst. This is part of a statement issued by Premier of Nevis General Mark Brantley regarding the attack on hotelier Mr. John Yarwood in a home invasion on Thursday, November 8, 2018. My government commits to continue our fight against crime and criminality whenever and wherever it raises its ugly head in our beloved island. It is a battle we must win. It is a battle we shall win. In this regard, we ask for the continued support and cooperation of the Nevisian public. I ask that we all remember Mr. Yarwood and his family in our prayers, that he continues to make a full and speedy recovery. Mr. Yarwood was shot when 2 armed masked assailants entered his home in Jones Estate. The 2 assailants were reported to have been shot by Mr. Yarwood. 4 persons have been detained by police in connection with the incident. 2 of the 4 are reported to be hospitalized with gunshot wounds. The National Commission for Universal Healthcare here in St. Kitts and Nevis begins an extensive public consultation campaign on Monday, November 12, 2018. The consultations offer an opportunity to all citizens and residents to have a say in customizing their future medical protection. The main public interaction is to take place during town hall meetings. The first in St. Kitts is on Monday at the Old Boys School on the corner of Seaton Street and Victoria Road from 7 p.m. Members of the National Commission and technical experts will present on the Green Paper for St. Kitts and Nevis's Universal Health Insurance Coverage Plan and outline proposed details for financing options, collection of data, and proposed benefit packages for the country. Chair of the National Commission, Azilla Charles, is encouraging the general public to participate fully in the meetings to ensure that the blueprint, which will be presented in December to the Cabinet, is a clear and definitive reflection of the will of the people. Meetings are scheduled from every Monday and Wednesday up to December 10th, 2018. Reports have reached this media house indicating that an officer deployed to St. Kitts from the Regional Security System, RSS, was taken to the JNF Hospital on Thursday afternoon, November 8th, after he reportedly fell out of a moving police van. According to reports, around 3 p.m., a police van with law enforcement officials turned a corner and an officer wearing the RSS camouflage uniform fell out of the moving vehicle, doors opened and onto the street. The EMS was called to the scene and the unidentified soldier was taken to the Joseph N. France Hospital. The extent of his injuries is not known at this time, but the VON Newsline will provide more on this story as it develops. Citizens and residents of Nevis are invited to attend the Remembrance Day religious service and parade on Sunday, November 11th at the War Memorial Square in Charlestown. Premier of Nevis, the Honorable Mark Brantley, members of his cabinet and other government officials, as well as members of the armed forces and uniformed bodies, will gather to pay their respects to the heroes who gave their lives during the Great Wars of 1914 to 1918, World War I, and 1939 to 1945 World War II. Each year, on the second Sunday in November, remembrance services take place at war memorials and cenotaphs in Britain and the Commonwealth nations to pay tribute to their servicemen and women who died in World War I and World War II. Notably, this year marks the 100th anniversary of the end of World War I. This year, Remembrance Day holds additional significance as it coincides with Armistice Day, which falls every year on November 11th. Armistice Day marks the signing of the peace agreement between the Allied nations and Germany at 11 a.m. on November 11th, 1918, the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. As part of the Effective Schools SKN program, the local steering committee distributed behavioral management supplies to school principals on 6 November at the Ministry of Education conference room. Since its implementation, classrooms across several Eastern Caribbean countries have been transformed with this positive, child-friendly school initiative, which is quickly gaining momentum. The constructive behavioral model, deemed Effective Schools SKN, helps provide learning environments where children feel cared for, respected, physically and emotionally safe. In a brief ceremony, 5 targeted primary schools received a sample package of behavioral management supplies. The principals of the schools, namely Joshua O. Williams Primary, Sadler's Primary, Dr. William Connor Primary, Irish Town Primary and the Newtown Primary Schools, were on hand to receive the supplies from the committee. It is the aim of the committee that with the appropriate use of these tools, students would learn accountability and responsibility in addition to the school's behavior policy. Effective Schools SKN is part of the Child Friendly Schools initiative, which was first introduced in 2011 in collaboration with UNICEF. St. Kitts and Nevis and the government of the Republic of Serbia established diplomatic relations on Tuesday, 6 November. In a ceremony held at Washington, D.C., representing the Federation was Her Excellency Thelma Philip Brown, and representing Serbia was Ambassador Extraordinaire Plenipotentiary to the U.S., His Excellency Mr. DJJ Matkovic. The ceremony was in keeping with the vision of the government of St. Kitts to expand its diplomatic footprint among nations and peoples far and near. Formerly a part of Yugoslavia and now a United Nations member country, the Republic of Serbia, with its 7 million inhabitants, is located between southeastern Europe and the Balkans. The St. Kitts Solid Waste Management Corporation, SWMC, introduced on Monday, November 5th, a door-to-door pilot project collection model which will see several communities, namely Bird Rock, Earlmorn, and Camps and Mattingly Heights, benefit from the model at specified days each week. General Manager of the Social Waste Management Corporation, Mr. Keithy Phillip, explained that in the Bird Rock, Earlmorn area, door-to-door collection waste material will be on Monday mornings and Thursday mornings. According to the GM, the second area includes the Camps Mattingly area as well as neighboring areas, and collection will be done on Wednesdays and Saturdays. In providing the rationale behind the new pilot project, Mr. Phillip explained that the SWMC opted to switch from the placement of bins to the door-to-door collection because of a number of challenges with the model they were using for the past year. Random persons would throw waste material as well as dead animals in the bins. Consequently, it became a health hazard, and this caused the corporation to change its strategy in collecting waste material. And finally, St. Kitts has received the highly commended award in the destination category of the Routes Americas 2018 Marketing Awards. The award is adjudicated by the Airline Network Planning Committee serving the Americas region. The annual Routes Marketing Awards ceremony recognizes excellence in airport and destination marketing. They are highly regarded as the most prestigious awards in the aviation industry, as they are voted for and judged by the Airline Network Planning Committee. Airlines voted for the marketing service that supported the successful launch of new routes or the development of existing ones, and were instructed to vote for the organization whose marketing efforts during the last 12 months made a real impact on their future network development plans. According to www.routesonline.com, St. Kitts as a destination is described as intoxicating natural beauty, sunny skies, warm waters, and white sandy beaches. These qualities, the website says, combine to make St. Kitts one of the most seductive spots in the Caribbean. That's our national news segment. You can visit our website at www.vonradio.com, or you can check us out on our social media page on Facebook at VON Radio and our VON Radio YouTube channel. News from across the region is next.
We are in the hurricane season and danger is right upon us. That is why we at the Bank of Nevis Limited have decided that it is time we finish your home. Get that well-needed fence or make some minor upgrades to your home. On a more serious note, install some shutters to keep your family safe during this hurricane season. Visit us or contact us today at 1-869-469-5564. The Bank of Nevis Limited will always stay committed to improving the quality of life.
Welcome back, another regional news in detail. 6 passengers on a Fly Jamaica flight were injured this morning when the aircraft made an emergency landing at the Cheddi Jagan International Airport, CJIA, in Guyana. The Boeing 757 aircraft, with 118 adults and 2 infants on board, was forced to return to the CJIA minutes after its departure for Canada because of technical difficulties and overran the airstrip on the emergency landing. The plane, with its 8 crew members of 6 Guyanese and 2 Jamaicans, also had on board 1 American, 82 Canadians, 35 Guyanese, 1 Pakistani, and 1 Trinidadian. The flight departed Guyana at 2:10 a.m. today, and at 2:21 a.m. the pilot indicated that there was some hydraulic problem and he requested permission to return, and he did. On landing, the emergency services were activated, and since then, an investigator from the Guyana Civil Aviation Authority has taken responsibility for the crash site. Fly Jamaica Airways was certified by the Jamaican Civil Aviation Authority, JCAA, in September 2012 and was cleared to operate in the United States by U.S. authorities in December that same year. On November 16th last year, the airline, formed by a Guyanese businessman and 3 Jamaican shareholders, was given permission by the Guyana government to begin direct flights between Guyana and Cuba. Out of Central Trinidad, police have said they seized a quantity of drugs as well as guns and ammunition during a pre-dawn raid. Police Commissioner Gary Griffith, who led the police exercise following a sting operation, said on television that a very high-profile person of interest had been detained. He said the operation came after 18 months of intelligence work and represents a significant break in the illegal guns and drugs trade. The police said several new guns had been seized during the operation and that several warrants for the arrest of another individual will be executed. Meantime, in Barbuda, Barbuda Belle, which is an intimate luxury boutique hotel on the island of Barbuda, is welcoming guests for the first time since being damaged during Hurricane Irma in September 2017, just in time for the 2018-2019 winter season. Speaking at the reopening of the property last weekend, Minister of State in the Ministry of Tourism and Investment, Senator Mary Claire Hurst, said it marked a very important step in Barbuda's recovery post-Hurricane Irma and a significant step in their country's tourism. Caribbean Community CARICOM trade officials on Wednesday began preparations for the 47th meeting of the Council for Trade and Economic Development, COTD, which will be held in Georgetown, Guyana, November 15th to 16th. High on the agenda was the CARICOM Single Market and Economy, CSME, with emphasis being placed on the implementation plan for the CSME and challenges to that plan, making the CSME more effective, and the definition of artisans and household domestics. The ministerial discussions will precede the special CARICOM Heads of Government meeting on the CSME scheduled for Trinidad and Tobago, December 3rd to 4th. At their meeting in Montego Bay, Jamaica last July, the heads of government recognized the need to keep focus on the CSME and agreed to have the special meeting. The agenda of the preparatory meeting of COTD officials also includes the direction of CARICOM's external trade policy as well as the community's trade relations with the United Kingdom post-Brexit. And finally, Jessamine Eden Apiary in Grenada has again won the highly regarded Medal of Ukraine Gold Award at the 87th UK National Honey Show held in Surrey, England, the last weekend in October. There were 21 entries from 13 countries, including New Zealand, USA, Kuwait, Singapore, Trinidad and Tobago, competing in the international class for clear honey, the most difficult class in the 3-day competition. Jessamine Eden Apiary is the only beekeeper in the Caribbean to win the award and the only one in the world that has won the Medal of Ukraine more than once. This is the 5th award won by Jessamine Eden Apiary at the UK National Honey Show. The apiary is owned and operated by environmental scientists Dr. Valma Jessamine and Jeremy Edwin, an attorney. Jessamine said that she has sampled honey from throughout Grenada, the rest of the Caribbean, and from around the world. Not surprisingly, no two honeys are the same. Honey, like high-quality wine, is influenced by the terroir of the place and the individual skill of the apiculturist beekeeper. That's it for Original Stories. Stay with us for news from around the world. Welcome back, and now the international news in detail. A Canadian man has to repay his ex-fiancée for the cost of engagement rings he bought using her credit card. Corinne McKay took Mike McLaughlin to court to get back the $3,490 Canadian dollars he spent on the jewelry. Ms. McKay told the tribunal that since he did not have his own credit card, he asked to borrow hers. The pair from the province of British Columbia broke up a few months after the engagement. The tribunal or court that heard the case also dismissed a counterclaim by Mr. McLaughlin, arguing Ms. McKay had kept some of his belongings after the split. The case was heard by British Columbia's Civil Resolution Tribunal, which resolves small claims disputes. A man who survived a mass shooting in Las Vegas last year was among those killed in Wednesday's attack in California, his family says. Telemacalas Arfanos, 27, died alongside 11 others when a man opened fire at a borderline bar and grill in Thousand Oaks, northwest of Los Angeles. He escaped death last year when a gunman killed 58 people in Las Vegas. A number of survivors of that shooting, the worst in modern U.S. history, have said they were at the bar on Wednesday. Police have named the suspect in Wednesday's attack as 28-year-old Ian David Long, a U.S. Marine Corps veteran with suspected PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. He served in Afghanistan from November 2010 to June 2011, officials say, and was found dead at the scene. The Borderline Bar is popular with students and was hosting a line dancing night when the attack happened. A Ryanair plane has been seized by French authorities in a row over money in the latest problem for the airline. The French Civil Aviation Authority grounded the Boeing 737 on Thursday at Bordeaux Airport before it was due to fly to Stansted with 149 passengers. It said the move was a last resort. More in this report.
Earlier this year, a French judge ordered Ryanair to pay back just over €500,000 to the regional council in the Charente region of southwest France. The regional council said the ruling was ignored by the airline, so it took the extraordinary step of ordering a bailiff to ground one of its aircraft when it landed in Bordeaux on Thursday. The BBC understands Ryanair is now sending someone urgently to Angoulême with a checkbook to pay the fine and retrieve its plane.
And finally, thousands of Palestinian civil servants in Gaza have been receiving overdue wage payments in a measure designed to ease economic hardship and acute tension in the territory. $15 million in cash donated by the Gulf state of Qatar is being distributed to workers employed by the Hamas militant group, which controls Gaza. More in this report.
Palestinian civil servants formed long queues from early in the morning as they waited for part of their overdue wages. Some left post offices holding up $100 bills. Israeli officials haven't commented, but the first installment of money received from Qatar is said to have been brought into the Strip in suitcases by a Qatari envoy. Qatar, which doesn't have official diplomatic relations with Israel, is a long-time ally of Hamas, which is seen by Israel, the US and the European Union as a terrorist group. In a deal approved by Israel, Doha has already started buying fuel for Gaza's one power station.
That brings us to the end of our news segments. The latest in sports is next.
Everyone likes to get more for their money, and TDC Insurance Company is here to help you do just that. Our new motor insurance package includes everything you and your vehicle will ever need. Rest assured, if you ever have a loss, we will have you on the road in no time. Pay one affordable premium and a payment plan suitable to your needs. Choose TDCIC for your motor insurance, where you'll get more coverage for less. TDCIC, guaranteeing you peace of mind.
Welcome back. Another sports in detail. In cricket, England completed a thumping 211-run victory over on day 4 of the first test against Sri Lanka to end their 13-match winless run away from home. The tourists steadily took top order wickets in the first 2 sessions before taking the final 5 after tea. Moeen Ali claimed 4 for 71 and Jack Leach 3 for 60, while Adil Rashid and Ben Stokes picked up a wicket each. The win puts England 1-0 up in the 3-match series and is their first in an overseas test since October 2016. Between them, England's 3 spinners took 16 wickets in the match. the second best return by England spinners in a test since 1958. The win is Joe Root's first as captain away from home and is England's first victory at Galle. Scores: England 342 and 322 for 6 declared. Jennings 146 not out, Stokes 62. Sri Lanka 203 and 250. Matthews 53, Moeen 4 for 71, Leach 3 for 16. England won by 211 runs. In football, Manchester United will lose more matches if they do not grow up and start well, says boss Jose Mourinho. United rallied from 1-0 down to beat Juventus 2-1 on Wednesday, the fourth time they have come from behind to avoid defeat this season. Mourinho's 7th place side faces Premier League leaders Manchester City at Etihad Stadium on Sunday. United were 2-0 down to Newcastle in the Premier League match on 6 October but won 3-2. 2 weeks later, they conceded the first goal against Chelsea but fought back to draw 2-2. Against Bournemouth last weekend, Marcus Rashford's 92nd minute goal gave them a 2-1 win after conceding in the 11th minute. In turning on Wednesday, Cristiano Ronaldo put Juventus ahead, but an 85th minute free kick from Juan Mata and an Alexandro own goal 4 minutes later saw United complete a famous Champions League comeback. In tennis, a planned exhibition match between Novak Djokovic and Rafael Nadal in Saudi Arabia has been called off because of the Spaniard's ankle injury. The world's top 2 ranked players were due to meet in Jeddah on December 22nd. There had been calls for the match to be cancelled after the murder of Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi in Istanbul. The Saudis admit Khashoggi was killed in their consulate, and Turkish officials believe he was choked to death and his body dismembered. World number 1 Djokovic said last month that he and Nadal would make a decision soon once they had more information about the situation. And finally, the semi-finals of the Department of Youth and Sports Development Bank of St. Kitts and Nevis State Ball Cricket Competition will be played on Saturday, 10th November 2018. Empire will take on GT United in Game 1, and in Game 2, SDA Jets will take on All Stars. The final is set for Sunday, 11th November at the E.T. Willett Park. That's it for sports. The General Weather Forecast is next. Welcome back, and now the local weather forecast for St. Kitts and Nevis. Weather tonight will be cloudy with a 70% or high chance of showers. Winds are east-northeast at 19 to 33 km per hour or 10 to 18 knots. Significant wave heights at sea of 1.5 to 1.8 meters or 5 to 6 feet. Small craft operators should continue to exercise caution. Sunrise tomorrow would be at 6:13 a.m. And that's how we wrap up the major news package for today, Friday 9th November 2018. Before we go, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Nationally, Premier of Nevis issues statement on attack on Hotelia, and consultations on St. Kitts and Nevis's universal health insurance coverage plan to begin on November 12th. Regionally, 6 injured as Fly Jamaica aircraft makes emergency landing in Guyana. Internationally, man ordered to repay ex-fiancé for engagement rings. And in sports, England completes 211-run win over Sri Lanka. On behalf of the rest of the news team, I am Tashon Tyson, wishing you a great weekend.